not attempt to adjust your dial. Ba-da-bum-bum-bum. It's your boy Big Vern. This is App Stupid, the fastest growing sports and entertainment show on these YouTube streets. You're welcome. Holla at us. Holla at your boy on a busy Wednesday here in the Midwest in another heat wave. Make sure you keep your animals and pets inside. Keep them hydrated. And the kids are still in school, headed for Labor Day weekend. So, parents, day drink while you still got a chance. Our last segment, we talked about Anthony Edwards and the erroneous things that he said, and Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas was letting him know, look, bro, shut your young ass up. And they were perfectly well within their rights. But just like anything else, right now, the news is so fluid, we just had to go ahead and get you in on another story that just broke. This is Big Vern. Straight off the presses. It's your boy Big Vern. And we got breaking news. We got some breaking news just dropped right now. Breaking news, Alabama's NIL collapses. So this is going to come out of Football Scoop at John Bryce. The University of Alabama's top name, image, and likeness collective, the Walk of Champions, is shutting down. I have never heard of this before because the NIL is so new in this era of college sports that this in itself is jarring because they were the top. I was like, wow. The Walk of Champions is shutting down. This is a first in the landscape of the NIL that a mega school like the Crimson Tide is crashing and burning. Or is it? And the answer is I don't know. Again, like I said, this is so new. Who knew what was going on? They largely operated with full, unfettered access to the Crimson Tide campus, but now it's a former shell of itself. How will this affect the recruiting? Do they have the money to get anybody? How can the coffers be dry? And we're only 2 years into the NIL era. What happened to the money? These are all legitimate questions. And the two guys you see on the screen, one guy just got here, so you can't hold that against him. The other guy used to be a quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and he was also the head of the collective of the NIL, the Walk of Champions. It's just like my head exploded when I saw that. I'm like, Jesus. Oh my goodness. Now, Alabama's collective is still in operation and also houses itself primarily on campus. So they had more than one NIL collective that was out there. And I could see that because we covered a story where Rising Spear at Florida State earlier on in the summer, how they were another collective that Florida State had on its NIL. And we covered that story. But yeah, this is shocking. The number one NIL, Walk of Champions, has folded. Give me a quick 20 and we'll get back into this. This is Big Vern from an unofficial sponsor of the show. Drop the spot. Yes, BK, have it your way, because you rule. Order online, download the app, or visit the good folks at your local Burger King. BK, have it your way, because you rule. So when we last left off, we talked about colleges having more than one NIL. That's not unheard of. What is unheard of is that the number one NIL collective is actually folding in Alabama. Then when we talked about the two men that you see currently in this video, you know who this guy is who's got the ball cap on. He just got here, Coach Kalen. That guy that you're looking at, that is John Parker Wilson, and he was the spearhead that ran the Walk of Champions NIL. Now, he obtained the nonprofit status as it sought to fill the pockets of Alabama student athletes with marketing deals and other opportunities ushered in following the NCAA's move to the NIL monetary ventures just a few years ago. The fact that this is all 501c3 is sketchy as hell and nonprofit my ass. And I said it. These should not be 501c3s. This is not a nonprofit. You're giving money away to people in hopes to come to this university. That means media rights, that means coverages, that means all kind of sponsorship. You have to be getting paid some other way. If you're a mega donor, you're making money some other way. You're getting a slice of something. And I get it. The reason that groups, they turn to that 501c3 status is that the donors' names, they don't have to be released. Sometimes you don't even have to show earnings. This is very sketchy. Now, Wilson, he had a cryptic message he released saying, out of an abundance of caution for our donors and charitable partners, Walk of Champions is ceased accepting donations and implemented a plan to dissolve, end quote. What the hell? What the hell? And that definitely right there, that sounds fishy to me, like something is coming down the pipeline and they want to get ahead of it. And they want to be ahead of this story before it mushrooms out and then levels the program. Because when there's smoke, finish the sentence. That's all I'm saying. I've never heard of an NIL suddenly before the start of college football season just going belly up. And the head of this 501c3 is talking about an abundance of caution. These are all troubling words. You have an abundance of caution over what? Because you don't have to reveal who your donors are in this 501c3. Hell, sometimes you don't even have to report the monetary value that most of these people are even donating. It's almost, if you want to compare it to something, it's the flip side of super PACs in political spectrums, where the candidate can say, hey, look, I don't know what goes on in my super PAC. I just know that there's money and they're running ads on my behalf. Wink, wink, but I have no control over what they do, who they attack, who they support, and vice versa. So you can apply that also to the college, because now they've went through and got the 501c3 status for a nonprofit, but he is saying out of an abundance of caution that they're not even taking any more donations. So if you're not taking donations, have you refunded these people their money? Again, I am just asking questions. This whole NIL is new to everyone. But when you have the number one NIL to that school dissolve and fold overnight before the start of the college football season, what does this do for morale? For the guys who were promised a certain set of money, and I'm sure some of those guys got paid from that NIL, and you as a player find out this place no longer exists. Is that money still good? Did I get paid in a check? Is it in my account? Has the check cleared? These are all legitimate questions. It's been less than 2 years since the formal arrival as a public, non-for-profit, unofficial charitable arm of the University of Alabama in March of 2023. How poorly was this thing mismanaged when you have attorneys saying they're not surprised This thing just folded overnight. There's an attorney with a Twitter. I don't get on Twitter. I'm one of those persons, if I have a negative connotation against you for whatever reason, I just don't want to support it. I don't want to support your platform. I don't want to be accessible on your platform. I don't have anything coarse to say about you or crass. I am just me. I'm just going to keep moving in my own direction. Sometimes the biggest insult to somebody is not to insult them, not to pay them any mind, just to keep moving about your business and ignore them. And I think that's a lost art. I can hurt you by not even giving you the view and giving you my attention. But for this attorney to say on Twitter or X or whatever you want to, that this isn't surprising. This is surprising to everybody above the Mason-Dixon. This is surprising to everybody outside of Alabama. This is surprising to many people in the arena of sports. Now, if you're legacy media, ESPN, Fox Sports, NBC Sports, CBS Sports, maybe you had some idea this was going on. This just broke overnight from Football Scoop and John Bryce. And now we are probably the only people who told you that these people are involved and this thing fell apart and it's a 501c3 and they don't know where the money's at. Because not once in John Bryce's article did it say that that guy right there, who was the head of this NIL, John Parker Wilson, never said that people got their money back. They stopped taking donations out of an abundance of caution. What does that mean? What did you do? Now, the SEC programs already are devoting current members to their off-the-field football staff. Think assistant directors of football operations into daily fundraising efforts to fill the NIL coffers. The SEC programs already devoted current members. Yeah. They, at Alabama, they have an off-the-field football staff that raises money for the NIL that is actually on campus. And I guess they're the primary now that Walk of Champions isn't a thing anymore. Where do you sit at? If you are a Bama fan right now, are you worried? Is this a sign of more things to come? I don't know. I don't know if this is a precursor. I'm just asking questions. You should be asking questions. Again, the biggest marks in any sport are college football fans. Now, boxing fans are gluttons for punishment. They want the fights. They can never get the fights. And by the time they get the fights, nobody cares that these two guys are fighting. College football, we're marks because we believe the garbage that they tell us. And we line up every year after year and we get fed the same lies year after year. We're marks. But in this instance, how do you feel? This is for people in Alabama. Let me know, do I have it wrong? This is Big Vern.